Sherese again.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I will be doing a reaction video to Llama Arts scary animation stories. I will be putting their link in the description below so you guys can check them out. So let's get right into the video. This one is called Scary Ouija Board Stories. Oh my gosh, guys, just from the beginning of this song, I'm already getting goosebumps. Oh my god, I hate scary stuff. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Ever since I can remember, we've always had one of those old vintage Parker Brother Ouija boards sitting in our closet collecting dust. When I was a kid, I always wondered what it was. From the box, it seemed like a horrible board game, until one day I found out what a Ouija board really is, and immediately dug it out of the closet.
Okay, so he said he found out what a Ouija board is, so why would you take it out? Come on, why?
I insisted on my brother trying it out with me, and eventually got him to play along.
Seriously, this is why things happen to people, because you're curious. Like, why? Just leave it alone.
We put our hands on the planchette, and I began asking the typical cliche questions like, is there anybody there? And, can you answer me? Other than my brother jokingly moving the planchette around,
I feel like I'm watching a Sam and Kobe video. I love them, by the way.
to imitate an answer from some kind of entity, there was no real response. After getting bored, we put the game back in the box. I did a little research that night to find out how to make Ouija boards work. Many people said online that the most ideal environment when using a Ouija board is in a dark room only lit by candles. So when my parents weren't home, I managed to gather like 6 or 7 candles and convinced my brother to try it one more.
I'm getting goosebumps. Guys, I almost filmed this video in the dark. I was like, I might set the mood, turn off the lights, but I'm like, good thing I didn't.
Time. I lit the candles and set them around the table in the dining room with all the lights out. We tried one more time. I asked again if there was anybody there. The planchette began to move. I told my brother to stop moving it, but he swore he wasn't. I told him to move his hand away, and he did. It kept moving. My brother thought I was...
Aren't you supposed to not move your hands off the Ouija board? Like, aren't you supposed to keep your hands on it? They just broke her rule. What the hell? What?
I was messing with him, but I didn't pay attention. The planchette landed on the word yes. I was only 9, so I was legitimately shitting myself. My older brother had to take over. He asked the question, "Are you a good spirit?" There was a 5-second pause before my brother's hand moved along with the planchette to the word no. We both looked at each other, and at this point I ran to my room and shut the door behind me, but he continued on with the so-called game. I heard his mom.
So they broke 2 rules. 1, you're not supposed to take your hand off the board. And 2, you're not supposed to play alone. What? Whatever happens to them, they ask for that. I don't even feel bad.
Muffled voice come from down in the dining room, when all of a sudden I heard him screaming at the top of his lungs. I ran back downstairs to see what was wrong. He was holding up his shirt, revealing a small open wound that almost looked like a claw mark. He told me to set the fireplace immediately, and I obeyed. He threw the thing in the fireplace and told me to never speak.
What? That's like 3 rules. You're not supposed to burn it. What the hell? It's so weird.
Speak of what happened to anybody. We have never used a Ouija board since.
That's it? Oh my gosh. Why? What's the point? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. Like, what was the point of that? What was the point? So this other one is called Home Invasion Horror Story.
It was a cold, foggy evening when I contacted a close friend of mine to stay at my place for the night.
Both of us were only 10 years old at the time, and my parents were often at work until midnight, so I was usually alone with nothing to do except watching a television show or...
Okay. No. You don't leave your kids at home alone. Well, no. No, that's not... No.
reading a book. My friend Alex had agreed to come over and brought a game of Monopoly to pass some of the time. I also asked if he was interested in going to explore...
He left that door half... No. No. I make sure all doors are closed. Like, no. This would have been the first and last time he would have been invited over at my house. No.
Or an abandoned subway station 3 miles away. He seemed excited at first, so we planned to go on the trip in the morning. I remembered that the subway dated back to the mid-1920s and became abandoned in 1932 after the market crash in 1929. I was very fascinated about its history, but never got the chance to go inside after my parents had warned me not to enter. As I quietly slept in my bed, I heard what sounded like a gunshot coming from the forest behind the house. Both of us woke up, frightened after what we had heard, and I told my friend not to worry, as hunters tend to go into the forest on frequent occasions, but when I checked the time, it was 11:39 p.m. This seemed very unusual, as hunters only came into the forest...
Who goes hunting at 11:39 p.m.? What?
...forest between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. I looked at Alex and decided to get out of my bed, intending to look through the window and spot for anyone in the forest.
Don't do that.
The darkness clouded my vision, so I was unable to see anyone in the forest. I turned around and looked at Alex again, when suddenly I heard the front door squeak open. Chills went down my spine. Both of us quietly moved to the bathroom, locked the door, and kept the light off. It was the only safe place in the house. Both of us were terrified as we desperately tried to keep as calm as we could. We heard footsteps getting louder and louder until they stopped in front of the bathroom door. And then this is when the most terrifying sound forced my heart to almost burst. Both of us screamed as the person chopped the door to pieces. It was pitch black inside the room, making it hard to find the vent, and by the time I spotted the vent, the person behind the door had made a hole big enough for us to see him. The man adorned black leather and was wearing a plague doctor mask. I scurried back to the vent, but it was too...
Looks like something I watch on Teen Wolf. No, it's so scary. What the hell? I'm 23 years old and I hate being at home alone at night. This is why you make sure all your doors are locked. He knew he was having a friend over. Before you go to bed, make sure all your doors and windows are locked. That's what I do. This could have been avoided if he checked the doors. They should have called the police. Like, none of them called 911. Maybe they didn't have phones, so. Oh, the thing said it was 19 something, so maybe that's why.
Too high above the floor for us to reach it, so Alex told me to go first because he was the strongest. He lifted me up on his shoulders, allowing me to open the vent and crawl inside. When I looked at the door again, the man had managed to fit his arm through the hole and reached for the lock. I quickly grabbed Alex's hand, but struggled to pull him up into the vent. "Alex!" I shouted, and began going after him. I pursued the figure until I was led to the abandoned subway deep within the forest. It was chilly and foggy, meaning that I could only see objects within a range of 5 or 6 yards. Inside the subway was a pool of freezing cold water. It was so dark that I couldn't see anything. I had to rely on listening to the screams from Alex and track the source. As I slowly walked through the subway, I was now struggling to breathe under the intense stress and fear of the situation. "Alex!" I called, but there was no response. I continued walking through the water until the exit was no longer visible. I was now experiencing...
Okay, I am so sorry, but I wouldn't be walking in water. First of all, I can't swim. That water looks so deep. I'm sorry, I would just call the cops, but I wouldn't be walking in water. It's kind of Alex's fault too. He didn't lock the door. He came in and he left the door half open. This could have been a way if he just like pushed the door a little bit more. But no, he didn't. This is why they took him.
Seeing a massive panic attack. I had lost track of Alex, and I had no idea where I was or how to get out. Where are you, Alex?
What the hell? I didn't expect that. Dude, that scare that gave me chills. Oh my god. What the hell? So Alex died. That's scary, and his closest friend remained missing. That's insane. Guys, lock your doors. Just lock your doors. Don't leave it half open, or don't think, oh, I thought I locked it. Like, double check. It's good to be safe than sorry. Lock your doors. Lock it. That was good. That was really good. Those two are really good. I enjoyed those. It was creepy though. Very creepy. I don't like it. Well, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I was a little creeped out. Well, not a little. I was very creeped out. That was kind of scary. I didn't expect that ending for that second one. That was a twist. I thought his friend would have been found alive, but turns out he wasn't. But just remember to lock your doors, guys. Lock the doors. Lock the doors, and everything will be fine. It's better to be safe than sorry. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you liked this video. Make sure to subscribe and be safe. Bye.